Good evening, folks. Your town council would like to welcome you to the regular town council meeting of Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. Call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. We would ask that you all rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Hayes, would you call the roll, please?
Councillor Kelly.
Here.
Councillor Reed.
Here.
Vice Chair Trusignet.
Here.
Chair O'Neill.
Here. And let the record reflect that Councilor Below does have an excused absence for this evening. Two acknowledgements this evening, Council. Yeah. If there are none, I would like to just make mention of the passing of Mr. Stan Quinlan, who served this community as a member of the Harmon Museum staff and also as a member of Parking Patrol for many years. Our condolences certainly go out to the family, especially this time of year, for the loss of Stan. We're sincerely sorry for your loss. To Good and Welfare Council. Any items on the Good and Welfare?
Just would like to welcome happy Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year for everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Thank you for doing that. I'll echo that as well on behalf of council, to staff as well from council. I'm not sure, usually there's an annual gathering here at Town Hall, and this year there's going to be, it's not going to happen due to the circumstances we're struggling with, so it's understandable. That will sorely be missed for sure, so please relay our messages from council to staff that we wish staff and their family members a joyous and safe holiday season. To the acceptance of minutes. Accept the regular town council meeting minutes from Tuesday, December 1st, 2020.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Reed, second by Councilor Kelly. There's no further discussion, and none opposed. Motion will carry 4-0. This evening, we do have a presentation from Maine Water on the agenda once again. There is a bit of a scheduling conflict, and the gentleman has messaged us to let us know that he will try to be here within 15 minutes. So at this point, we'll forego the presentation on the agenda and move to the public hearings. For public hearing, business licenses and approval. Roger and Mary Trusignet, 205-129, 36 Portland Avenue, 1 year-round rental. Jason Field, doing business as A.J. Field Properties, LLC, 30311 1 Morrison Street, Units A and B, 2 year-round rentals. Globalrest Capital Real Estate, LLP, 318-8629, 146 West Grand Avenue, number 29, 1 year-round rental. Allison and Cynthia Cox, 207-213-115, 161 Saco Avenue, number 115, 1 year-round rental. And Semper Pi, LLC, doing business as Domino's, 206-2713A, 8 Heath Street, Unit A, victualers with prep and no alcohol. Open the public hearing at 6:35. Councilor Trusignet?
I'm going to abstain on Roger and Mary's.
Okay.
So I don't want to separate them out, though.
Okay, very good.
But I should abstain on that one, probably.
Right, understood.
I did the work, so.
Just in case, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So is there a motion to enter, the chair will entertain a motion to approve all except Roger and Mary Trusignet?
So moved.
Thank you. Motion has been made by Councilor Kelly, second by Councilor Reed. If there's no further discussion and none opposed, that motion will carry 4-0. And for the license of Roger and Mary Trusignet,
So moved.
Second.
motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion and none opposed, that motion will carry 3-0 with 1 abstention. Closing the public hearing at 6:36. To public hearing this evening, shall the town council adopt an ordinance amendment directing horse manure containment devices to be attached to all horses riding along the beach during the permitted time frame of October 1st through March 31st. Be it hereby ordained, the Town Council of Old Orchard Beach, Maine, in the Town Council assembled, that Section 42202, Horses and Horse-Drawn Vehicles of the Town of Old Orchard Beach Code of Ordinances, subsection F, Regulation of Horses on the Beach, is amended by adding the underscored language and deleting the strike-through language regulating the use of containment devices. I'll read, so Section 42202, Horses and Horse-Drawn Vehicles, I will read how the ordinance will read if and when adopted. The owner, operator, or driver of horses or horse-drawn carriages operating on the beach shall be required to attach a containment device to the rear of each and every horse so operated, to be maintained and emptied so that the manure is completely contained therein, cannot and does not fall upon any surface while operating under the permit provided for herein, and is carried away for proper disposal. We'll open the public hearing at 6:37. Are there comments from members of the public?
Through the chair?
Mr. Mead?
Yeah, just so that the public is aware and council is aware that the reason that this ordinance is coming before you is because there's a town of Scarborough and the town of Old Orchard Beach, which share the beach, do not have the congruency with respect to the ordinance. Currently, the town of Scarborough does require these containment devices to be attached to horses that are using the beach in the town of Scarborough. That change in their ordinance, we've been, since 2009, Scarborough and Old Orchard have worked on permitting of these horses on the beach together. But in 2017, the town of Scarborough changed its ordinance to require these containment bags, which means that effective in 2017, we had different ordinances. It has become an issue in terms of enforcement and how the horses are using the beach. They tend to be sticking to Old Orchard Beach now instead of Scarborough. And so what this would do would be to equalize the two towns so that the requirement for the containment device is across the beach, whether you're in Scarborough or in Old Orchard Beach. And I know that many of the people who are frequent users of the beach have been informed of this change, so I see nobody's shown up yet tonight, so assuming that means there's not an outcry against this.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Mead. I'd also like to marry along with that sentiment that there was a citizen who came to council under Good and Welfare one evening and brought this to our attention as well. So as the manager indicated, we do work closely with the town of Scarborough to somewhat create equalizing ordinances, so one beach can't have more or less than the other beach for rights and privileges. So it's important for us to be consistent between towns. So I thank staff for their efforts in bringing this forward. If there are no further comments, we'll close the public hearing at 6:40. Brings us to our town manager's report this evening. Mr. Mead.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that. So the buzz on the street is that we have a winter storm approaching Wednesday night or Thursday. While we don't really know what the storm totals are going to be at this point in time, it's an opportunity just to remind everybody about our parking bans in Old Orchard Beach that are put into effect as needed. So I want to remind residents once again to be aware of the fact that there will be parking bans instituted for significant snowfalls. So please make a point of paying attention to the notifications. We do publicize this through the major television outlets and radio stations, but also on the town's website, the police department's website. In addition, anyone can sign up here on our website or at Town Hall and we'll send you an email notification directly every time we do institute a parking ban. And so to do that, you can go to the town's website, the homepage, you click on subscribe to news button, and you can register for the alerts through that mechanism. Off-street parking is available for our residents during parking bans at the Memorial Park parking lot, the Milliken Street parking lot, and at the Ocean Park Square. We have not, at this point in time, put in effect a parking ban for the pending winter storm, but that decision probably will be made tomorrow, so I just would encourage people to pay attention in case we do institute that parking ban. While we're talking about winter and snow, I also want to encourage residents to help keep our neighborhoods safe this winter by adopting a fire hydrant. You can clear away the snow 3 feet on all sides of the hydrant after each storm. That's really the most efficient way, the quickest way to get our hydrants clear as soon as possible after snowstorms. And I know on my street there's 3 hydrants, and each of them is being cleared by somebody in a magical way pretty quickly after the storm. You don't need to fill out a form to become a member of this club, so just do it informally. There's no waiting, no red tape, no lists. You can adopt your very own hydrant. I participated last week in the public informational meeting that we conducted regarding the traffic and mobility study that's currently underway at the halfway intersection. We had over 30 people participating in the Zoom meeting. There was some really good input from neighborhood residents who are most impacted by this intersection because of the frequency with which they're transversing it. We're still in the early stages of this study. Our consultant is Goral Palmer Engineering. They have generated at this early stage a few options that were in this sort of the sketch stage and presented that at the meeting. They included a 4-way signalized intersection, a 3-way signalized intersection, and a roundabout intersection. That's things that they're looking at, options that they're considering. In looking at all of these options, what they're really focusing on is a few key variables, and that includes how each option is able to slow down the traffic that's coming through that intersection, how they can facilitate the entry and exit of vehicles, particularly from the non-major streets of Temple, Old Salt Road, and Old Orchard Road, and how they could eliminate the high crash designation that currently exists at this location. And finally, how they can promote safe pedestrian and bicycle use of the intersection. This is a pretty highly used intersection as far as bicycles are concerned. The bicycle people brought documentation that they have of people who, through cell phone monitoring with their bicycles, show major uses throughout the state, and this is one of those areas, where, particularly Saco Avenue and Ocean Park Road, but also coming up Old Orchard Road, and then down Temple. There will be further opportunities for public input as this study goes forward between now and next summer, when we expect work finalized. So stay aware of that. And one point that was discussed during the meeting is that fixing this problem is going to be expensive. We're going to, I'm sure, require some state participation, perhaps federal funds. And for this reason, that preferred proposal is going to have to compete with other priorities, transportation priorities in southern Maine, because there's a limited number of dollars and a lot of interest in those dollars. So realistically, it'll probably be 3 to 5 years before a project, once it's identified, could be implemented in terms of getting the construction going. If you have questions or comments, please contact us at Town Hall. I would direct you to Mike Foster at our planning office, who's taken the lead role in this.
And Larry, the presentation is on the web as well.
Thank you. That's right. Yes, Councilor Reed just...
I thought it was well done. I thought it was very informative.
Yep. Thanks for reminding me of that. Councilor Reed just pointed out that that the informational meeting was recorded, and it's available on our website. So thank you for that. And then the last item I just wanted to mention is that, Council, you have scheduled a workshop on January 12th to begin your work on an ordinance to regulate the retail sale of adult-use marijuana. So just a heads up for you and for the public for that date. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mead. Well done, as always. Mr. Nolan. Greetings, sir. If council will allow, we'll digress on the agenda to a presentation from Maine Water. And welcome.
I do. That would be wonderful. Maybe Jen can give you some assistance on that. I brought, why don't we keep moving forward and we'll help him get.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Great.
While they're getting set up, we'll address a couple items on the new business. Item number 7336, discussion with action to approve the transfer of the forfeitable items of the defendant in rem or any portion thereof pursuant to 15 MRSA, Section 5824, subsection 3, and Section 5826, subsection 6, and accept the seizure money, $3,165, U.S. currency, should it be awarded by the courts, docket number CR 20180. And council, backup information on this, I believe this is something that is required by the Attorney General's office for council to take action on this item. Are there any questions?
Motion to accept.
Perfect.
Second.
Motion has been made and second to accept. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion will carry 4-0. Item number 7337, discussion with action to set the public hearing date of January 5th, 2021, to amend the Old Orchard Beach Code of Ordinances, Section 54187, by adding a handicap parking space in front of 9 Willow Creek Lane, 2051941. Is there a motion, council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Through the chair.
Councilor Kelly.
Is this for an individual, or is it for public?
Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Council. Excuse me. I received a letter from a gentleman that lives at 8 Willow Creek who has a handicap placard, and his request was to put the handicap space in front of 9, which is across the street. So he sent me a letter with his request, and he also sent a letter from the abutters of the street at number 9, who indicate they have no issues or problem with that being placed in front of their residence. And there is parking on that side of the street, so there are no issues ordinance-wise other than the approval of a handicap spot. And there are no traffic issues or anything that would concern public safety, so.
Okay.
So, as with any handicap spot, though, it would be a first come, first served basis, correct?
Right.
Yes.
So it's open to the public.
Right, it's public, yeah, it's a,
It's not for him directly.
right, and he understands that. It's
All right.
it's,
Just in case, yeah.
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 Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
thank you.
There we go, there you go.
Just didn't want to set a precedence on.
Right, right. If there's no further discussion, I have the motions and the seconds for the last 2 agenda items, so you're all set. If there's no further discussion on this agenda item, just to set the public hearing date, motion, and no further discussion, motion will carry 4-0. Mr. Nolan, all set?
I am, thank you.
Well, welcome, and once again, we thank you for your time. And
Oh,
helping us-
thank you for inviting me. This is my last stop of the 4 communities. I'm traveling to Biddeford, Saco, Scarborough, and Old Orchard to share with you news about our new water treatment facility, our project, and perhaps most importantly, it's time to start talking about dollars and cents and the financial impact that this project will bring on the community, because we're finalizing our plans to approach the Maine Public Utilities Commission for a change in water rates, and I wanted to inform you about that and invite you all to participate in the process. So this is a picture, or a collection of pictures, of our existing facility. I know many of you have been to South Street, had a tour. The original facility, the left-hand side, was constructed in 1884 when Grover Cleveland was elected President of the United States. He beat James Blaine from Maine. So the Blaine House in Augusta, the last time anyone from Maine ran for president. So it's been around for a while. It was last improved in 1936, and time has taken its toll. We are suffering from some challenges in our maintenance program. There are systems in the facility that are no longer made, no longer supported, equipment that you cannot buy today. And we've been open with the status of the project. We've invited community leaders and regulators and the public to come tour the facility and see where their drinking water comes from. And while there's great pride in the Saco River, and there's great pride for what this facility has done for the 4 communities over the last century, actually more than a century, it is time to face facts that all good things must come to an end. And this is a chapter that we studied for several years now. Our engineering analysis all point to replacement of the facility and not renovation or rehabilitation. Primarily because the facility sits squarely in the floodplain of the Saco River. And these lower right pictures from 1955 and 1987 remind us that the facility is exposed to flood in a very significant way. It's been placed out of service for days at a time from past flooding events. We know that climate change presents greater risk of this in the future. And so there's no way on the existing site to engineer a way out of the flood zone. The company bought 350 acres across the street, on the south side of South Street, and we've proceeded with construction of our new facility. And I wanted to share that with you. So this is a rendering of the new facility. It has the same production capacity, the same flow capacity of the existing facility, which is 12 million gallons a day. But it brings with it today's design standards for redundancy and efficiency. We'll actually produce a gallon of water in the new facility with less labor, less power, less chemicals than we do today. So the unit cost of production in the new facility will be less. But it's a very expensive proposition to get that new facility in business. Our direct construction costs are a little over $45 million. The total cost of the project is almost $53 million. And that's actually very competitive when you look at other facilities that have been built in the country. And there aren't many of them, guaranteed. These things last a long time. Projects like this just don't happen very often. But that's a cost of about $4 per gallon of production. And the range is anywhere from a low of a little over $3 to as high as $10. So we're on the low side of the range for facilities like these. And the next slide will show you, we actually have a project cam set up on the site. So we turned this on in July. We started construction on site work in February. Got a little hung up with COVID and trying to assure ourselves that we could do this project safely under COVID protocols. So we didn't start building construction till July. But in 14 seconds here, I can show you what's happened since then. So this is a time lapse of July through November of the progress on the site. And you can see that most of the structure today is in place, and we'll be working inside through the winter. Construction will continue through all of calendar year 2021, and we should have the project complete in the spring of 2022. So what's unusual about infrastructure like this is that as a regulated utility, our model of funding and approvals and revenues or rates or taxes really doesn't follow the municipal model. The Public Utilities Commission will review this in great detail, not only for prudency, but for reasonableness. The obligation of the main statute is that water rates must be just and reasonable. So that's the tenet that we operate under. The last time that rates were set in this service area was in 2017. The current rates generate about $8 million a year in annual revenue to support the utility. And this investment of over $50 million, once you have the design and approvals and carrying costs of the project in the mix, is going to need about $6 million of new revenue by itself to support that investment and to pay for the operation of the facility when this is in place. So a traditional rate-making approach to this is to wait until the facility is complete, it's in service, providing benefits to the customer, and then asking for recovery and recognition of that investment in a new set of rates. We think there's a twist here that is appropriate, and we want to share it with you, because our proposal will be to file today, before this facility is complete, to request the start of new revenues on a phase-in basis so that we can build a ramp for customers. And let me explain that in a minute in more detail. But here's a picture of the last several years. This is a 10-year window of Maine Water Company's involvement in the local community. We acquired what was the Biddeford-Saco Water Company in 2012. At that time, rates for the average residential user was about $33 a quarter, which is $11 a month, for 100 gallons of water delivered to your house. The last time that we set rates in 2017, that number now is closer to $20 a month, closer to $60 a quarter. Both of those compare very favorably to the purple bars, which are the statewide averages of water bills in Maine. When we're done, at the end of this project, as I said, revenues do need to go up, so water bills need to go up. And our projection is that we'll be right around $100 a day, a quarter, $100 a quarter, $102 actually, to be exact. And that compares very favorably to the statewide average that's projected at that time. So that's a little over $1 a day. That's 90 days in a quarter. And it's just over a penny a gallon for treated water delivered to your house. But that is a significant impact from where we've been. And we wanted to make sure that was clear. Our proposal to the Public Utilities Commission will be something along this line. This oversimplifies, but in a traditional rate-making approach, which is the dark line, the black line, you see that we are at $8 million, $8.1 million in revenue in 2020, 2021, 2022, at which time, with the completion of the facility, we'd generally request a single step to get up to $14.7 million of revenue, which would establish the new benchmark, the new operating level of revenue for the facility in one step. That's a big step. And what we would like to propose, and what we plan to propose, is an alternate plan that smooths out that step, that builds more of a ramp by asking for some additional revenue in 2021, again in 2022, and a final third step in 2023. All of these timed with the municipal budget cycle of July 1 to June 30. And by doing that, we can take the funds that we collect in '21 and '22 before the facility is complete and offset some of the capital investment in the facility when it goes onto the books and have a lower rate base addition from this facility than what would traditionally exist. And that blue line you see is a little bit lower than the black line at 14.1 in 2023. That means that the overall impact of this new facility is actually lower from the time it's complete and for as far into the future as you want to carry that than it otherwise would be in a traditional rate-making approach. So this revenue smoothing mechanism, we're calling it, has the downside of asking customers for some money today to phase this in before they're getting service from the facility. But it has the benefit of both building the ramp and having a lower ultimate plateau once we are finished and the facilities in service. So our proposal to the Public Utilities Commission is going to present this approach, which I said is not traditional, and we have no guarantee of success, but we believe those benefits, which are avoiding that big single step, reducing the overall impact, and creating a predictable schedule for those increases, is worth the proposal. And to get started on that, if we're going to be successful with any revenue step in 2021, we need to present our case to the Commission as soon as possible. So our plan is to do that in January. Our hope is that we could spend enough time with the 4 communities to seek some support from you for the benefits of this alternate approach. Because in the absence of that, quite honestly, I'm not sure that the Commission in Augusta will be interested. Electric utilities have alternate rate-making strategies. Gas utilities have alternate rate-making strategies. But water utilities have never been afforded that luxury, either by rule or by statute. So this will be a new twist on an old game for the Public Utilities Commission. We think it makes a lot of sense. And we'd like to ask you as a community for your support in this. And we would understand if that stops short of supporting a rate increase of this magnitude. That's not really what we're asking, but the approach and the benefits to the customers seem to make sense to us. So that's probably raised some questions. I don't have any further slides to share with you, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And before I do, I really would like to recognize Councilor Reed and Councilor Blow, who's not here tonight, because for the last several years, we've had the benefit of Louise and Kenny advising us on matters related to this, on the other issues that we are facing in the Biddeford-Saco water system. And we truly have highly valued their counsel and their advice over the years, and it's much appreciated.
There was a positive reaction by all of us who attended from Biddeford, Saco, and Old Orchard. It was a tri-community discussion, and if I recall, there were positive comments about the approach that you're taking.
Thank you. That's true. I think Mayor Cassavan, Biddeford, said essentially healthy communities need healthy infrastructure. And this is an infrastructure investment. You may have read recently that the Maine Society of Civil Engineers released their infrastructure report card for the state. And this project was actually mentioned in that report as an example of a proactive approach to replacing infrastructure that's needed, even though it's so expensive. It is our challenge to finance and support the infrastructure investment that's needed. We look forward to partnering with the town this coming summer on the CDBG project, and that's another example. So those things are going to continue as well. This really is a generational investment that will have another 100-year life. So it's that question of, is this the right time to do it? It's not a question of if you're going to do it at some point. The question is, when will you do it? And everything points to now. The low interest rates say now, the condition of the existing facilities says now, climate change says now. We've developed a design and construction program that we think is very effective, very efficient, but we absolutely recognize it's very expensive.
Excellent, thank you for that. Very well done. And thank you for your time once again. Are there comments or questions from council?
Through the chair. So what are you looking for a vote of confidence toward this project from us tonight? Or
Not tonight necessarily, no. The process will be, certainly if there are concerns about our proposal, I'd love to hear them tonight. Absent serious concerns, the process will be that we'll file our plan with the Public Utilities Commission in January, and that will be on file here at the town office. Everyone is welcome. The first step in that proceeding is to invite interested parties to participate, either as a full legal represented party to the proceeding, or simply as an interested customer or member of the public that wants to comment. The Public Utilities Commission would accept any and all input on the project. And I could certainly work with Larry or any of the councilors to advise and assist with that comment opportunity. And that's going to be open from the middle of January, probably through the middle of February.
I think that it should be noted that the Maine Water Company has tried very hard to get the input from the three communities collectively, and I think that should be acknowledged.
Thank you.
Councilor Tusick?
Yeah, so, where does the 53 million come from? The total cost of the project is estimated 53 million.
So we
Where does
have,
that revenue come from?
well, we borrow the money
Yeah,
from two sources. We have mortgage loans, and we have shareholder equity. So our shareholders are infusing capital into the water system here in Saco to make this happen, to build it initially. So then to support that capital, we turn to the Public Utilities Commission to raise rates to make payments on that borrow.
so by pre-funding, how much less do you have to borrow? I guess, have you figured, is there some way to figure that out?
Yeah.
And sell it on that pretense, that's where I'm going with this, okay? You're asking for the public support.
Sure.
Somehow, this would be good information probably to gain that support in the long run.
True. And our proposal would raise between, if we could ask for an annualized amount of $2 million a year beginning July 1, 2021, and a second $2 million increase in July 1 of 2022. From July 2021 through year-end 2022, that will generate about $4 million of revenue that we will use to pay back that initial borrowing to build the place. So we'll literally reduce the cost of the facility that goes onto the books. So while we're building and borrowing and constructing, we'll be building the balance in this fund, which is a regulatory liability account that gets set up dedicated to this purpose. At the time that we complete the facility and put it on the books, if we're at $53 million, then we'll take the balance out of that fund and put it on the books at $49 million instead of 53. And that's why we save money overall, because the long-term rates will support the 49 million, not the 53, because customers will get the benefit of putting that money in upfront.
Thank you.
Much like pre-funding or putting money away to buy the fire truck, I guess. If it's town's done that.
Yep.
Excellent. Further comments?
All set.
So through the chair,
Certainly.
and how many years is the financing?
The financing will be for 30 years. But the way that the rates will be set, and again, this is one of the details that come out of the program, is that we aren't allowed to recover the principal of our customers. We can only collect the interest annually. So we can pay the cost of the capital, but we can't get a return of that capital to pay down the principal. So if we have these long-term loans, we make interest-only payments, and then at the end, we refinance. We depreciate along the way, and that depreciation is the return on that capital. And that gets reinvested into the system in things like the CPG project and the distribution system, and all of the other components, the meters, and everything else that we do. So the customers, unlike in the municipal model where those bonds are being paid down over their life, this is a model where the principal stays and the recovery of the carrying costs really is just the cost of the capital, not a return of the capital. It's a little bit different.
So if this proposal was approved by the PUC, the new rates would go into effect beginning July 1 of 2021.
Correct.
And according to the average cost that you presented currently, it's $20 a month average cost for a residential consumer?
Correct.
So their cost, an average cost would go up $5 a month.
Correct.
Okay.
Then another $5 a month in '22.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that's the plan. And again, we think we think a ramp is important because one big step, we know we'll get a negative reaction to that. And we like the idea of having the overall cost be as low as possible. Those are the primary benefits.
So it's a little over 20% hike.
Each year.
Yep.
So thank you for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Nolan?
And we're not going anywhere, so if you do have questions, just let me know.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Nolan. And thank you for thinking ahead and looking out for the best interests of what I see as your customers. And hopefully the PUC will go along with that thought. And if you need something from us sooner than not, please reach out to Mr. Mead, and we'll make sure that you're in receipt of that, okay?
Thank you, Rick.
To item number 7338 this evening, discussion with action. To reappoint the following committee members: Francis Manduca and Raymond Delio as regular members of the Design Review Committee, terms to expire 12/31/2022. Barry Jackman and Cynthia Nye as regular members of the Conservation Commission, terms to expire 12/31/2023. Riza Naaman as a regular member of the Finance Committee, term to expire 12/31/2022. Marion Hubert, Linda Mayotte, and Winthrop Winch as regular members of the Planning Board, terms to expire 12/31/2022. Raymond Delio and Ronald Regis as regular members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, terms to expire 12/31/2023. Michael Shannon as citizen member of the Business License Administrative Board, term to expire 12/31/2022. Melissa Clark as a regular member of the Ballpark Commission, term to expire 12/31/2023. And Anita Anderson as Health Officer, term to expire 12/31/2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion will carry 4-0. Item number 7339, discussion with action, to approve the proposal from Connectivity Point Design and Installation LLC for new network cabling infrastructure and layout in the Town Hall server room in the amount of $10,165.22 from account number 51002-50903, CIP IT equipment replacement account with a balance of $15,593.28.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Sorry,
That was a budgeted item.
yes, thank you for pointing that out. Councilor Kelly just wanted to remind us that that was a budgeted item. With that, if there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion will carry 4-0. Item number 7340, discussion with action, to adopt the written policy to permit the disbursement of state fees when a disbursement warrant has been signed by one or more town councilors. This policy allows a designated town councilor acting on behalf of the full board of the municipal officers to review, approve, and sign municipal treasurer's disbursement warrants for payment of state fees only.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, council. Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion, and none opposed, motion carries 4-0. Item number 7341, discussion with action, to approve the quote from Nova Electric to provide the emergency transfer of power to the new administrative building in the amount of $9,871.66 from account number 30181-50551, Sewer Reserve Fund Operating Equipment Expense, account with a balance of $502,274.86.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead, Louis.
Motion has been made in second.
Just
No-
real quick, Sean.
For discussion, I'm sorry,
I
Mike?
just got a quick question then.
Go ahead, yep, go ahead.
What is providing emergency transfer of power? What is that?
Basically, it's a generator. It's similar to a generator. I mean, it's just going to allow, if power goes off,
So we're buying a
then-
generator, or what's actually happening?
Chris, come on in.
Yeah. I don't really know what it's doing.
Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Chris White, wastewater superintendent. At the beginning of the project, we requested that during a power outage, there be an auto transfer.
Yeah.
There was concern on the engineers about the final cost of the project, they left it out. So what we're gonna do is hook the new building into the existing panel. So when power goes out to the line, both buildings basically, it should read more like auto transfer.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
If there's no further questions or discussion, motion will carry 4-0. Item number 7342, discussion with action, to approve the contract with Stryker Medical Systems, Inc. for the purchase of 2 Lucas 3 chest compression systems with a 4-year service and maintenance contract in the amount of $29,289.89 from account number 20138-50560, DHHS Keep Maine Healthy COVID-19 State Grant with a balance of $73,472.66.
So moved.
Louise had she had the...
Second.
Thank you, Counsel. And I'd like to thank the chief for being here this evening and congratulate him on this grant once again and for the purchase of this device. Chief, I understand you've tried two different devices, and this device is the one we're going to go with based on the fact that we're already doing business with the company that will supply us the service with this. Makes good sense. I'm in awe of a machine such as this, having done CPR myself or being trained to do CPR. I'd like to see this actually in action. That'd be fantastic. This is quite a purchase for the town and for our staff as well, to give them an extra set of hands, so to speak. So yeah, so thank you for bringing this forward and congratulations on that. There's no further comment? And none opposed, motion will carry 4-0, which brings us to our adjournment section of the agenda this evening. Once again, on behalf of council, happy holidays to all. Be as safe and diligent as you can be with these trying times for all of us. May the best present itself in any form it can to all of you. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. If there's no further discussion, we thank you for attending, thank you for viewing. Be well, be safe, and have a good evening.